Now we're live. I wish I had a puka shell necklace.
I wish I had a puka shell necklace, baby, because then it would be 88 again.
88. It was like 98.
Yeah.
But didn't rhyme with baby. I get it.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I had to make a call.
Yeah.
And these kids won't get that. All these babies that listen, they won't know.
No,
they don't know about pooks.
Pooks are coming back.
Oh, I saw some kids with pooks. Oh, you know what I should do? The Linden Aquatic Center. Do you know this?
No.
It's been a while.
I don't even know where Linden is.
Yeah, exactly. Lynn knows. It's kind of around her stomping area. Old stomping areas.
Okay, yeah, I see where that is.
I haven't
it's
heard
too far
those
south
words
for
in
me.
a very long time.
They have that. They have a fucking one of those wave things.
A wave pool? Do you swim in?
Nope.
With the fish?
Nope. Like
we're just gonna have to wait and hear.
It did sound cooler when it was with fish, so whatever. Now I'm not as excited about it.
You're the
wave pool with the whales and stuff. It's nuts.
It's got everything. What's it called? Flow Rider.
Oh, that I know. I think I actually think I know exactly what you're talking about. I think we went there. You can pay like $20 and do unlimited flow rider.
And I did unlimited falling on my ass. Didn't stand on the wave once. It was awesome.
Oh, those things.
Yeah, we were way off.
My neck hurt for like 3 days. It was bad. Yeah. Okay. All right, let's do it. I think this is gonna be good.
Okay, you're starting us, so.
On this week's SOD, the Borderlands film is flopping, Turkey bans Roblox, and Lynn breaks down her embarrassing stats in Baldur's Gate 3. After the news, Peterson breaks down
Nope, I'm not doing that. You all right? JD just fell asleep. Dude's like narcolepsy over here. He did that, and then his head was just down on the camera. I don't know what happened.
It's just my mouth like shut down when it was like
Marvel's Midnight Suns.
Wouldn't say it. It was just like, nah, fuck you.
That's your
I'm
warm
not
up.
gonna say it, JD.
It's your vocal warm up. Marvel's Midnight Suns. Marvel's Midnight Suns.
Okay.
All right, do this again.
On this week's SOD, the Borderlands film is flopping, Turkey bans Roblox, and Lynn breaks down her embarrassing stats in Baldur's Gate 3. After the news, Peterson breaks down Marvel's Midnight Suns, and my Dice of Destiny game was so short I beat it in a week. Oh, it's because I said breaks down twice. I don't like that. That's stupid. That's where I was like thinking that in my head, and then it like fumbled my mouth.
Oh,
I see.
Well, you got through it really good, and now you're just doing it again.
Nope,
3 times the charm.
On this week's SOD, the Borderlands film is flopping, Turkey bans Roblox, and Lynn breaks down her embarrassing stats in Baldur's Gate 3. After the news, Peterson talks about Marvel's Midnight Suns, and my Dice of Destiny game was so short I beat farts in a week. You just logged into the 3-Bit Gamer Show. Welcome to the 3-Bit Gamer Show. I'm JD.
This is Peterson.
This is Lynn.
And I knew you put farts there. I was watching you type it.
I was hoping I could sneak it in real quick.
No, you can't sneak it in.
Sometimes I can sneak it in.
Type it somewhere else and then just quick copy paste it. But otherwise, I see your cursor. It's all over the place.
Okay,
it even has your little name tattling on you.
Quit creeping on my cursor.
I'm watching your cursor,
dude. I'm creep.
He sees you when you're cursor.
Are you gonna do your?
I know. I'm done. I'm done. Do it again. Just roll it again. From the 3-Bit Gamer Show. The news. All right. Our news this week.
We're being giggly today.
We all got high first.
We're goofballs.
It's brought to us by Crave Cookies.
Crave
Cookies is this cookie shop that it's everywhere except for West Valley. No. You guys are fans of the West Valley Crave. You better get down there pronto, as in this week, because we're gone on like Thursday. The former owners and the landlord pulled a fast one on us, and we are getting evicted. So
it's because of JD. Honestly, he goes there and they were just like,
"Look, how was I supposed to know? You're supposed to open letters you get in the mail at the place of business. It doesn't make any sense. If you want me to look at the letter, send them to my house."
Plus, they're trying to get the hippies out of their business. They got this hippie guy with long hair coming into work.
Dude, those damn long hairs.
We thought this was a cookie shop, not a hippie cookie shop.
I know what kind of cookies you're really selling.
Oh my God.
Exactly.
And if for any more info, you'll have to talk to the lawyers.
Are you going to be doing a Burning Man in this cookie shop? I don't know. I can't tell. But
so wait, you're supposed to talk about Crave in a like a real positive side of stuff.
Yeah, the sponsors.
Yeah, so Crave's great, and they have amazing cookies. And you should check
cookies.
their website, cravecookies.com. And you can check out not only all their Crave cookies, but all their locations. Because I promise you, even if you're in West Valley, you can still get Crave cookies because there's enough around. So they have a new cookie menu every week. This week, we get a new menu on Friday, but you're listening to this podcast on Tuesday, and we're giving it to you early because we love you.
We're giving it to you real early.
We still got the Biscoff Explosion because that is our monthly. And I had a lady come in the other day, and she just straight up ordered. I was like, usually I ask people, hey, do you want to like look at the menu and let me know if you have any questions? Are you like ready to order? She's like, I'm ready. I was like, oh, all right.
She was ready for this. She
did
some research.
Sometimes they like kind of look at the menu or they look at the cookies we have on display and kind of think, no, she did no thinking. All her thinking was done in the car. Or it sounds like the night before because she's like, I want 6 Biscoff Explosion. And
wow.
I was like, whoa, sister, do you like this one? Is this your favorite? And she goes, well, my family and I got a mixed box, so one of each last night. And this one went immediately, and they were like fighting over it. And like they didn't even want to eat the other ones. They just were sad that this one there was only one of them.
Strictly.
So she went back
the next
morning.
day.
Business.
That's actually kind of
the next morning to get 6. And I bet only 4 of them made it into her house because 2 of them were gone in the car. Like, dude, this lady was serious. So I told her, I was like, this is the monthly. And she looked at me. She goes, oh, I know. I was like, you don't have to buy 6 right now. Girl, you got all month. She's like, no, I need 6 right now.
You should see my kids. They're monsters.
Yeah, so this one is awesome.
That's what that says
the
to me.
Biscoff Explosion is amazing. It's got like a little nugget of Biscoff cookie butter in the middle. Also, the salted caramel Reese's, the red velvet Oreo, the Snickerdoodle Toast Crunch.
That's a good one.
I just bought like 8 giant bags of Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Nice.
Doesn't matter. Banana cream pie is the cold cookie. That's another huge one that people are freak out about. Come in. I have had more customers come in, ask about that one, and turn around on their heel and leave without buying any cookies than any other. That does happen. Hey, do you have the eclair? No, we don't have the eclair. And they just like turn around and fucking leave. But the banana cream pie has some like, they're like Swifties of cookies.
These flavors are bring out the worst in people.
Turns them into monsters, dude.
Absolute monsters.
We never should have made the cookie shop.
Yeah, no, this is my bad. And get your cookie on. Well, the U.S. talks, Turkey walks away from Roblox. How did you not put that? How did you not put that stuff?
I don't know. I just wrote a cheesy headline to see if you.
Peterson wrote some cheesy headlines this week, and we're just reading them straight up.
Oh wow!
I don't change that shit.
He puts in the effort. It should be shown on the front end.
Lynn gets it.
Sometimes I wrote that one and laughed, and I was like, "There's no way he's keeping this," and I laughed, and he did. He kept it. So
I kept it, dude. I like Lynn said, you've got to reward good behavior. It's like giving your. You don't just spank your dog when he pees on the rug. You give him a treat when he doesn't pee on the rug.
You just got a nice shiny cookie, a nice shiny dog biscuit.
Giving you a little dog biscuit.
I'll take it.
A little one. So this is the Minister of Justice, Yilmaz Tunç, on Twitter. Minister of Justice for Turkey. Which, are we spelling Turkey different? I missed the boat on that. Now I see it in the news, and it's spelled with like an I and an E and all this stuff.
It should be, yeah.
Like this spelled the way that it's.
When did it? So you're telling me what I learned in high school? Geology has been changed.
You mean like geography changes?
I don't like that. I don't like that.
It turns out we say
Wait
almost
until you
every
hear what they did to
country different.
Pluto. You're gonna be furious.
No!
Have you heard about the Brontosaurus?
I learned stuff 20 years
Okay.
ago, and that is immutable. That's what it is. Just like the age of the Earth, 6,000 years old, and it never changes. Anyway, Roblox was banned from Turkey, quote, due to content that could lead to the exploitation of children. So, what we've learned from this announcement is that the Minister of Justice for the country of Turkey listens to the 3-Bit Gamer Show and takes our content very seriously.
We just
Brother,
talked about this.
sorry about the fart noises, but thanks for wading through that. You've
Look,
helped your country immensely.
I bet Turkish people still fart, so he's okay. Farting is like the love language of like everyone, universal. Everyone understands it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what I think is interesting in this story is that the U.S., like we talked about last week, we got legislators talking and like, oh, we're gonna pass some laws to like try to make the internet or make like the gaming safer for kids and that sort of thing. And we had talked the week before about Roblox
being a nightmarish hellscape for any child that doesn't want to be sexually propositioned.
Yes. Turkey puts 2 and 2 together and like, yeah, we can do one better. Like the U.S. is just passing legislation. Why don't we just ban Roblox so the groomers can't get our kids, the Turkish kids? And so now Roblox is furiously trying to undo that. Maybe that's what it takes, though. Maybe we just ban it, and they'll be like, "Okay, we'll fix the predator problem." Gosh.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if Turkey's a big enough market that they care. I feel like they're just going to find which palms they need to grease in Turkey, which they clearly weren't greasing properly like they were here in the U.S.
Another thing that was interesting in this article that I was reading that they also talk about how they want to avoid exploiting children, particularly young kids being overworked to produce content in the game that got monetized. Which was so interesting to me. I'm going to be for real. Like, I haven't been super dialed into Roblox, but it was this. Oh, it was, this. Roblox studio head Stefano Carrazza was asked about growing concerns about children. He said, so I can be 15 years old in Indonesia, living in a slum, and then now with just a laptop, I can create something, make money, and then sustain my life. Still not great to be like, you know what? The way out of poverty is my platform.
Look, Lynn, I know you didn't like this the film or the book, and I'm with you now in retrospect, but this is literally straight out of Ready Player One.
Exactly.
This is like they wrote that book as a dystopia, and like still 10 years later, people are like, no, close. This is like we've learned nothing.
Nothing.
What the fuck, dude? It wasn't like that guy was prophetic. He was kind of a dummy. He's like, yeah, this seems like a natural conclusion. And this is like years later, this Roblox studio head is like, yeah, this is fucking awesome, dude.
It's like, yeah, no, I see. It's great to have kids work more. Yes, bring them into the sweatshops.
More than anything, I'm going to specifically reference kids in slums. Like if you find yourself talking about your customers living in slums, and you're like cheering this.
It's just,
pump the brakes.
It reads a little tone deaf, just a tiny bit.
What the fuck?
Look, they can go into Roblox, make their own game, and if it gets popular, they can make some money doing it. That's all, just no big deal. In the meantime, they're getting groomed from all directions simultaneously while trying to make this He's
like, whoa, I don't want to get groomed. I'm just a 15-year-old living in an Indonesian slum.
I'm a 15-year-old just grinding away for Roblox.
Trying to make that bread.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier about fashion being cyclical. We were joking about like puka shell necklaces when we were in high school. Those are back now with like the kids these days. Are we also bringing back like the early days of the internet? Like just any chat room was full of any sort of potential predator. Again, we can learn from the mistakes of the past people.
I don't think we're bringing it back. I think the predators are working real hard to bring it back.
We keep building the platforms and playgrounds full of children. The early days of the internet.
JD, we're not building them. Other predators. Yes, I'm calling the CEO of Roblox.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
You heard it here first.
Lynn, you weren't on this episode, but we had said the response to the like some C-suite guy's response to like, yeah, kids are getting groomed in Roblox. He's like, it's like hardly any
1%.
people.
It's like it's like 10,000 kids out of like 500 million kids. Is that
It's
many
like
kids?
it's not. We were like, that is yes.
It's like every other executive was like, you say that in the boardroom. You don't say that shit.
No,
we
public
talked about that. Don't you don't
No,
this
it's
is-
like the
You
analogy
think it,
we
you don't
said
say it.
is that a cop comes out after a school shooting and reads the names of all the kids in the school that weren't shot.
God.
And he's like, look, man, I got 300 kids here, live and breathing, and I'm going to read their names, and you're going to stop getting on my case about the 25 that bid it.
Yeah. So yeah, I think the predators are making predatory apps for the predators. I don't think we are. I think they're bringing it back. That's my conclusion.
But they're bringing children in Indonesia out of poverty.
They just
So,
give them a platform.
One kid.
Are they Jesus Christ? I can't say yes or no, but I'm leaning yeah.
They can make they can make TikToks or Roblox games. It's their only options.
I don't.
Sorry
use
about the
lightly.
future, kids. It's dark.
It's pretty bleak. Not gonna lie to you.
Just the fog of war all up in there. The Borderlands movie has landed, and the reviews are borderline bad. See, I'm not just being nice on this one, Lynn. I'm shaming him. Because I don't think this shit should go. I shouldn't be the only one subjected to this. That's another Peterson headline for you guys. The Borderline reviews are borderline bad?
Borderlands are. I really wanted you to stumble on it. I should have put more border and land in there.
You
I
should just
had
go
more
stand
and I
outside and
stopped
take a
it.
deep breath
This
and come
entire
back and let's start over.
This
No,
entire episode is just one very long vocal warm-up exercise.
Thanks.
To be fair,
That's what I
I
need.
spent a lot of time on this one trying to. I was
You
like,
spent a lot of time on this one, and that was the
Glad
best.
you're here for this, Lynn.
No, I know. I was trying to see if I could get it really bad for JD, and I thought, okay, if I make it too bad, he'll change it. If I don't make it super horrible, like he might not read it all.
The
and get
delicate
there.
dance of trolling
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
You've
do it
managed
just right.
mediocrity perfectly.
Yeah, you nailed it like an AI, dude. Like an AI designed to torment.
All
me.
right, you're asking for it. Next week, it is going to be Tongue Twister City.
It's gonna be hell. So the Borderlands movie, if you guys didn't see it because you were seeing Deadpool versus Wolverine for the third time, Abby, it was the PG-13 effort from director Eli Roth. It currently has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 9% with
It's
99 critics, 50% audience score. There's a few, like 400 or 500 reviews, I think. A D+ audience score with Cinema Score. And this last weekend, it took 4th place behind Deadpool, Wolverine. It Ends With Us. I don't know what that is. Twisters. Why isn't Twisters doing better? And Borderland comes in at 4th with $8.8 million. 8.8. There's some McDonald's that made that this last weekend.
The only thing that I can think of is when because I haven't seen the movie. I haven't even seen the trailer.
No one
I'm
has,
not gonna
Lynn.
waste
That's
my,
the
I'm not going to
point.
waste my time, but just from the poster alone, it's just look at how they massacred my boy.
Yeah, did you play? So we've all played these games, Peterson. You played these, right?
Yeah,
I
the
played Borderlands
games.
2
Yeah,
a little bit.
it's it doesn't look good. The choices they made in casting alone, I
Kevin
think they
Hart
lost a lot of
choice-
people. Because isn't that like the
Oh.
real serious character? He's not like a goofball character.
Well, it doesn't matter though, because you cast Kevin Hart and it becomes a like type of
Kevin Hart movie. It's a Kevin Hart movie.
Yeah.
It
Kevin
was-
Hart's Borderlands.
Yes,
And-
the person Zach's. Oh, I cannot pronounce that last name. Zach Zwiesen, who wrote
Yeah.
the Kotaku article Borderlands movie first impressions called lifeless and really bad. He said something in here about how like the casting does seem like it was done by someone who was like, oh, this is what the kids these days think are cool, right? Like they
Yeah,
like
Kate
Kevin
Blanchett's
Hart.
cool, right?
They like Kate Blanchett still. She was Galadriel.
What
It's like
year is
buddy.
this?
They
Yes,
love Jack Black.
2006.
it was
everyone
very
does.
much. Am I so out of touch? No.
Yeah, when did School of
it's
Rock
the children
come
who
out?
are wrong.
Yeah, this is a weird. It's a weird fucking movie, but they're getting
what it
rewarded
is?
for it.
It's like Eli Roth is slowly turning into like the M. Night Shyamalan, where he can take good actors, like actors who individually I appreciate and enjoy, and just turn them into shit. Just put them into something that they can do nothing with.
I watched Piranha 3D last week with Jenna, which Eli Roth didn't direct, but he had a big part in the production of that film. And I was like, this is what Eli Roth needs to be doing. It's like Hostel. It's like Piranha 3D. It's like these crazy gore fest movies. And then they take him in and he gets put into, honestly, this is the movie that Tim Burton would be cast or would be slotted to direct in the mid 90s when they're just like grab Tim Burton. They're like, hey, you want to do Planet of the Apes? You want to do Batman? And he's like, no, I usually do these crazy, kooky, whack films with Johnny Depp dressing up as a nonsense man. But yeah, I'll direct your stupid licensed property and it's not going to go well. And that's exactly what seems to have happened with this. They get Eli Roth to do a PG-13 Borderlands. Eli Roth makes sense if this is a hard R. And it's just like people's heads exploding and like flaps of fucking bloody skin everywhere. I'm like, oh, no, I'm back in for this. Like, let's at least we get some gore and some camp out of it.
Yeah, so like Evil Dead levels of like kind of.
But at a PG-13 level, you are getting this sanitized version of Borderlands with the what I saw that may have contributed. I don't know how much, but what I saw may have contributed to the casting choices was that fucking idiot Randy Pitchford's obsession, because he's tweeting constantly pictures of him with the cast. Look, I'm standing next to Kate Blanchett. Look, I'm standing next to Kevin Hart. Isn't that cool? And Kevin Hart looks bored out of his mind. So I could definitely see Randy Pitchford being like, oh no, just cast the most famous people that will take a paycheck for this film. I don't care. Whatever it is, I just get so bitter about these things. And the reason I wanted to cover it is because like we keep going over and beating this dead horse half to death, which is like, there is a formula for doing this right. And you can even do it wrong and like kind of meh. But if you actually stick within the source material, like with Sonic, you'll still have a decent film. You'll still get good returns.
Yep.
But they've done none of that. They have no respect for the source material and they made a shitty movie on top of it. Dude, what the fuck? What the fuck?
It makes me so sad because it really is. The potential is there. It's so good. Like the source material itself is written clever enough. You don't have to change much.
It could be a good movie.
So incredibly soulless.
Soulless and cynical.
That it just makes anyone who likes the Borderlands games, just your heart breaks a little bit. You weep a little bit. I think it's slowly going to turn into one of those things where folks say like, oh, the first Avatar, the last Airbender movie never happened. So no, it didn't happen. Shh.
That is a great prediction that this thing will just, I can't wait for it to hit streaming. I'm excited to maybe see this on streaming, but
knowing me,
Mario movie.
Yeah, knowing me, I'll probably like try to watch it streaming and be like, it'll be fine. Like I'll have like a glass of wine and like just enjoy it for what it is. And it won't happen because I'll just get too serious and think of what I could have had.
Yeah, it'll make me sad. I mean,
I think that's I think one of the most frustrating parts of this for me is like they have just wasted this. You know what I mean? Like they're not going to do another Borderlands movie. No. Like they wasted the property in terms of, and that's what I'm terrified of with anything I love, like any Brandon Sanderson stuff. If they were to like make a movie of it and it sucks, it's done. Like you don't want it to be wasted. So now Borderlands is done. You know, they're probably going to do the same thing with what's the underwater one, JD, that you love that they're making the TV show of that we just talked about. I can't remember.
Oh, BioShock?
Yeah, BioShock. They're gonna do the same thing to BioShock. They already did it to Halo. Like they've taken these things, they do a bad job, and they just ruin it for what could have been if they just didn't try to Hollywood it so hard with Jack Black and what's his face, Kevin Hart, and like. So yeah, I think that's the frustrating part. Is it could be good. It should be a rated R movie. There's no way Borderlands should be a PG. I mean, the game has an M rating, because it's not like a kid's game. And
Not at all.
And so, yeah, I just like, I don't know what they were just trying too hard to like do that Hollywood mass appeal thing. And when you fail doing that, you make less money than if you would have just made a good movie. And so
Exactly.
this is still, this is big disappointment. But if you if you want to laugh, a morbid laugh, just go read a bunch of the headlines about the Borderlands movie. Because they're like,
it's great content.
Soulless. If you want to be miserable, watch this movie. Like they are people are not pulling their punches.
Like the critics were all just like licking their lips. Like, oh man, I cannot wait. They were writing these headlines in the film while they were watching it. Like, oh, this is going to be the snarkiest one. Oh no, I have an even snarkier line. They're going to love this one. And it's really good.
Yep.
Valve might be introducing a new review system to filter out unhelpful reviews. This is cool and just kind of an ongoing. I just keep feeling like we're going to regret this. Every time we gloss on Steam and Valve, that we're going to be like, I can't believe we used to love them so much in like 2 years. When we find out that Gabe Newell was running like a dogfighting ring or something. And we're like, God damn.
No. Yeah, like
go
ahead.
Oh, my first thought was just define helpful. And then I read the article and I was like, okay, actually, please get rid of reviews.
No, I just can't wait for the first person to be like offended that their review was removed and they like tried to do an actual review, it's just really short, and they were just like removed it for being unhelpful, and they're like, what? I really liked it.
Someone on the Steam subreddit noticed a new helpfulness system. That's what Valve is calling it. That applies to the summary and most helpful reviews. So you go to a Steam game store page, and then you click on the reviews, and usually the first things you'll see before you drill down into the actual reviews, which you can sort and filter, is the highlighted ones, the summary, and the most helpful ones, which people can kind of rate in the community. The problem is that a lot of these times, so I went, and this is in the article, and so I looked at it, the top review and for Elden Ring, if you look at the #1 review on Steam, the most helpful review, the top most helpful review for Elden Ring is a joke. It's a one-line joke, and it's a useless joke because unless you've played the game, you don't even get the joke.
Yep.
So for anyone that hasn't already played the game, because it's a joke about a specific boss in the game, and it's just like a dumb meme. And so many reviews have become like this. It's like a Reddit comment section where it's just like a contest to have the funniest or memeiest reply. Well, if I'm actually trying to understand a game, especially a game that may not be like Elden Ring, where you can go find 1 billion reviews for it, where Steam may be one of the few places you can get legitimate community feedback on a game, especially smaller indie games. And if all the reviews are just a meme, that legitimately hurts the marketing of your game, because some games rely exclusively on Steam, period. They have a social media account, they have a YouTube, whatever, but they're not getting a lot of the people that are coming to buy their game are mostly coming on Steam. And if they land on their page, they go to click on the reviews, and the first 5 reviews are inside jokes about the game. Dog, that ain't gonna sell your game.
No.
And so I think it's insane that Valve has noticed this. These are the things that, like, this is the type of like tech debt that you dream of being able to get to, and they're just banging through it. Usually these are things that like you present in a meeting at a hackathon, and all the higher ups are like, yeah, that'd be really nice. Anyway, get back to, fixing the credit card processing page, because that hasn't worked in 2 weeks. So yeah, I think this is so cool. I think this is tight.
So currently it's not live right now. It was just something that was put up for a little bit, and then it links to a blog post that isn't even there anymore. So perhaps they're still testing it out. But it would be nice, because I myself have noticed that just the process of trying to find a new game these days is just getting harder and harder.
Yeah.
And like on the PS5, because that's what I play on primarily, if we're looking for games, we don't even see reviews. They don't even show up on like the store at all whatsoever. So it's just interesting to see what will happen to just like, this is, I think, JD and I's past coming up, our user interface past coming up, being like, oh, is this like the last, like, we know that like user interface and like putting customers first is getting like worse and worse and worse and worse. If one of the most useful things as humans determining if I'm going to buy a game is if another human likes it. If reviews become more spammy or more memey, become less important, what will replace that?
Yeah. AI.
How are we going to find
Yeah.
real reviews? Or is it just going to be dead internet theory? Bots talking to bots, talking to bots, talking to memes.
Well,
It's already happening.
and the reviews are super important on Steam, I would say, because if I go to any other storefront, Epic Game Store, the Xbox Store, because I have Game Pass, if I see a game that I'm interested in, that even on Epic Game Store, I have to go to the Steam page to look at reviews of that game because EGS doesn't even have a good review system. Steam is the place to go for reviews on your game. That's every other storefront. Before I buy a game, we go check it on Steam, even if I don't buy it on Steam. So yeah, super important. And I like that they're like paying attention to that system because if everything falls apart, like that's at least their big contribution to the gaming world is that we at least have a place where we can like go in and get reviews for games from people because no other source is reliable, in my opinion.
Let us have this one thing still,
Just
please.
Please
kill it.
don't ruin it.
Yeah.
Jason Shire says that sentiment around Bungie's marathon inside the studio is not great. Not great. This is our friend Jason Shire. He was talking on the Friends Per Second podcast, which, man, I'm never going to worry if this podcast is too long. That one was 3 hours and 15 minutes long.
Damn.
Who could sit down for that long? That's
Joe Rogan
crazy.
style.
Yeah, dude. Way to go. 3.5 hours. Anyway, so he was asked about the sentiment inside the studio around the game because Schreier has quite a few sources at Bungie. I think Bungie and Rockstar, he's just filthy with people. People are just like sending him everything. Their emails just auto forward to him every internal email they get. He said, quote, not great from what I've heard. There's a reason it was planned for this year and slipped a whole year. People I've talked to are a little pessimistic about it even hitting its current planned deadline, but we'll see. I don't know when that is, sometime in 2025. He says the sentiment is not great, at least as of a few months ago. And if you remember from, last week, we just reported that they are shutting down everything that isn't Destiny or Marathon. They're going all in on this one, and this is a pile of dog shit.
The phrase "not great" says so much.
Like, bless his heart.
It hurts more than terrible or not good.
Yeah.
Just not great has such a...
It's because you've been saying
you're gonna
bad
think about that
so
one
many
for
times.
a real long time.
Yeah, that you're like, I'm tired of saying it, how bad everything is. I'm just gonna say it's not great.
It is
Woof.
not great.
It's so bad I don't want to get into it, so I'm gonna couch it and say it's not
Woof.
great. Big woof.
Also, they're making Marathon is an extraction shooter. Again, why are people diving to like 7 years ago? And honestly,
it wasn't that big
shooters,
7 years ago.
That's what I was about to say. Like, it has not been a huge genre. There have been like games that have done the extraction style, and they've all been pretty okay.
Yeah.
None of them are. They're not great.
Yeah, not great. The other one that was really surprising was, Joe Ziegler, former game director of Valorant, has taken the helm for new game director. So cool. Yeah.
Valorant, that's a strong legacy.
Yep.
Yeah, they keep going through leadership shakeups, which is never really a good sign. But again, you're the remaining studio. You're the remaining developers at Bungie who have just watched a bunch of your friends laid off as the studio and Microsoft. And the new studio heads, these are brand new guys you haven't worked with before, and they're laying off your friends, and they're saying, this is it. This is all on your backs. Your game better rock. And you are looking at your coworkers. All of you guys work on Marathon. You're looking back and forth nervously like, this game does not rock. But this game is not great. They're going all in on us.
And do it with 17% of the workforce reduced.
Yeah, just That's fine. I think the high they're chasing, and I think this is what people are trying to fill a void for Tarkov, which is the biggest extraction shooter.
Mm-hmm.
And Tarkov keeps making like the biggest mistakes, and somehow their player base is not like dead. They keep making the
They're
worst
trying.
decisions. And so I think what these game studios are seeing, they're seeing that happen, and they're like, oh, we can do that. We can make this extraction shooter. But yeah, I mean, most of them that come out are just mediocre. So yeah, I don't know. This is I don't expect this to be an amazing game, even
No.
especially now that the reports are
I don't
that
know if it's going to
not very
even
good.
come out. They might just shut this one down and be like, we're a Destiny shop, which would be my
It's
bet
not
is
good
what
because
happens.
Destiny is also dying
Yeah,
as
and
well.
it's 7
so
years old. So that's where I think we're headed.
Yeah.
Bungie just shuts everything down. They're like, we do Destiny, and that's it. The Baldur's Gate 3 anniversary statistics have cemented the popularity of Asterion kissing and being turned into a cheese wheel. This story was fucking hilarious. I think that didn't Elden Ring do something similar where they released stats of like who had beaten what boss and who'd given up at what point. That's this kind of thing, is that Larian Studios has tracked how many people have made decisions in their insanely branching, endless decision tree of a video game. And they've tracked that all and turned it back. They've turned the mirror on all the freaks that have played this game for hundreds upon hundreds of hours, and they're like, look what you have wrought. Look how many of you wanted to be a cheese wheel. Who does that? So that you like teasing a god or something and he turns you into a cheese wheel? Is that
Genie.
a genie? Perfect.
A genie.
And
Yes.
they tell you how many people have done this. Ah, it's so funny. I love this kind of shit.
This isn't
Actually,
the first...
these guys come out with these stats quite a bit. When the
Yeah.
game first launched, they came out with a bunch of these stats. I love it. These are great.
So the one that surprised me the most was between the last time that they released stats, Astarion managed to eke his way to the top of the most romanced.
It's like a leaderboard.
Somehow
is,
managed to do
yeah.
that. Yeah, I think it is. He still is. Oh, this is impressive. Over the over 75 million companion kisses. Shadowheart's the leader with 27 million kisses, but Astarion is next with 15 million kisses. So even though he's not in the top romance stats of being romanced in Act 1 or in Act 3, that means that the Astarion simps are just that thirsty that they are kissing this man enough.
Isn't he the one that's so horny, though? He's like the easiest one to hook up with.
No, he's the vampire. The one that's the
Yeah.
horniest is Lae'zel, actually. I think Lae'zel is the easiest to sleep with.
Oh, well, she's like the first one.
Yeah.
But I swear, because so on my playthrough, I was playing as like this big buff guy, and I was like, and Asterion kept trying to like, hey, you want to do this? Are we going? And I was like, no, stop. And he
You
wouldn't
just
stop.
made the right decisions.
He just kept trying to come for it. And I was like, do I have to make out with you? Like, I don't like, this is not my character's arc. But like, he just kept pushing for it. So maybe he's just breaking people down by his persistence. I don't know.
This is interesting. Everyone gets such a different experience. The other one that really got me was more people decided to hook up with the Emperor than with Halsin in bear form. That's surprising to me.
Well, I wasn't going to do the bear either. My character was not. My character wanted to be the big guy.
Just
I was going to say, is this a what? Yeah, okay.
My character wanted to be the big guy, and the bear was too overpowering for him. So it was too intimidating.
But
you don't want to be the bottom bear.
This is the most important stat, though. With the dog companion, you can get Scratch. He was pet over 120 million times.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me at all.
I love that they are tracking that, though.
Yep,
that was the
most important thing to track.
That is so cute.
I pet him every time I went back to the camp.
Yes, every day, every morning, and every night.
You got to. Like, he's so happy for it too.
Oh,
so. And I'd throw the ball.
Yes.
You get the ball, and I'd pet him and then throw the ball. Like he was a real dog. I was like, yeah, gotta keep him happy.
Because he is the goodest boy. And then I have to give this out to the props because I do not know how anyone does honor mode. 140. I am so bad with numbers. 141,660 people played honor mode and beat honor mode.
Explain what that is.
It is when you play on a higher difficulty with no rerolls. You roll the dice and that's what you get. And if you die, you dead. No reviving, no starting over.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So you got to give a salute to those guys.
Yeah. These stats are amazing, actually. I love this. I wish more games did this, where they would just like release all these wacky stats, because these guys have done it before and it was interesting before, and now they've got just tons of stats and it's amazing. Yeah, this is awesome.
Here's the last one. This is the rarest one. 1 year after launch, 34 players unlocked some sort of ultra rare ending with one of the origin characters, Lae'zel, which means that they put time, effort, and energy into writing, recording, scripting, storyboarding, the whole shebang of a decision tree that only 34 people have seen.
Dang.
That is wild.
And now I want to see it.
I know. Oh, and so I went on YouTube because there are streamers out there. They upload everything.
Yeah, that's what
I can't find it.
No,
I can't find
34
it. Out of
people.
That is ultra
that
rare.
Any of them would have been streamers actively streaming, like
a huge. If you made that video would get so many.
That video will be made in 5 years because someone will find it. They'll grind for it. But
yep,
that's so crazy.
But I mean, if you look at how many plays, we're in the millions, and 34 people got it. So yeah, this could take a while to see that.
It's a pretty big spoiler. But it's 34 players playing as the avatar Lae'zel chose to kill themselves at the end of the game after Blacketh rejected their ascension. So that's a whole ton of spoilers, but
yeah, I mean, it's fine.
Ultra rare.
That's cool. That's crazy. And I do like that they made that whole thing and 34 people have done it.
Crazy.
Awesome. Oh, here's some good stuff. I'm sorry to inform you. Welcome to another company reset. Hope you've updated your resume. You've just been laid off.
This is the small one. This was one. It was smaller because they piggybacked off another layoff so they could actually avoid triggering California's WARN Act, which I think is really fun.
Oh, that's messed up.
Meta is closing a beloved first-party Quest studio. That is the Oculus Quest. This was the studio was, why can't I find the freaking name? Oh, Ready at Dawn Studios. And they were opened in 2003 by former members of Naughty Dog, acquired by Oculus in 2020, and closed in 2024. So they operated for 17 years, pumping out like a game for Jak and Daxter called Daxter, some God of War games, a bunch of games for the Oculus, and that seemed to be their downfall because once they were acquired, they were closed 4 years later. Fucking incredible. Acquisitions are categorically bad.
Well, and Meta, the VR section is, as we know, as we've reported many times, just bleeding cash. They are losing so much money all the time. And so, this is a drop in the bucket. If these guys are not making value, it's this is going to do nothing. They're losing millions and millions and tens of millions every year or something like that. It's it's insane. So this, I mean,
you say tens of millions? No, I think it's in the billions.
They're losing billions
on Meta, on
their worry,
VR and metaverse.
You can still get the Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses.
We both groaned. JD and I both groaned at that. We're just I don't want that. Why are they doing this? Who wants this?
Games, virtual reality games, no.
Dude.
This one comes
Smart
with
glasses.
the scummy bonus that we may have actually reported this. I don't know, but they laid off a third of the studio last April. So about a year ago, they laid off a third of the studio, got their numbers low enough that they didn't trigger California's WARN Act, which requires companies to give employees notice ahead of time if more than 50 employees are laid off in a 30-day period.
And honestly, like, it's not even that, like, I know that people will play this game. Companies will play this game and try to avoid that. It's not even that bad, because that's what we do for all of our layoffs. We give people a 60-day notice. Hey, 60 days, you're out. So it gives them tons of time to do stuff, like find another job. So it's like the least shady thing. And honestly, it's not like a big cost. If it's less than 50 people and you're like, no, we're not going to give them a 30-day notice. Like, we're not paying for these guys for 30 more days, these leeches. You're like, what, dude, just do it. Just do it, because you don't suck. I don't get it. I
Meta
hate
keeps
companies
on
sometimes.
proving to be the worst.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, put on your bibs, your reusable silicone bibs.
Put on your biblets. It's time for some riblets.
With
Hey,
the
somebody said
most flat, dead, hollowed out voice. Put on your silicone bibs.
Here we go.
No.
We're gonna do
biblets
this
are back.
again.
Someone in our Discord is sharing that with me. Who was that?
Yeah, some riblets are back at Applebee's. I don't know. I just want Applebee's to go out of business. I hope if any of you are listening to your Applebee's fans, just be better, okay? I hope they go out of business.
You
soon.
deserve to have
Oh, man.
standards. You deserve to be treated
Yeah.
well.
You can be better.
But if you still go to Applebee's and get your riblets, you probably still come to this podcast to get your gaming news. These are little meat chunks of news.
There's
Not
no
the
better
Maybe we
place.
shouldn't be insulting our target demographic like a key.
insulting, man. These are red-blooded Americans. They eat at Applebee's. They listen to the 3-Bit Gamer Show. They drink chicken broth instead of water. They're who we want. So the Dead Rising remake will no longer reward players for taking upskirt pics.
Yay, the bare minimum.
I read this story and I was like,
So I can still take them, right? I
If
just
you-
won't get rewarded. Is that the idea?
yeah, that is probably
That's
the case.
fine.
I guess
Honestly,
in this,
the reward is the picture itself.
yeah, I guess in this game, in the original game, you could like take a picture, and if there was like more cleavage in it, you would get points for it being like an erotic photo, because you're a photographer and like turning these in, and you would get like some kind of credits for them or something like extra. Nah, that's not in there anymore, and I'm like, why was that in there in the first place?
Wasn't this like 2003 or something? This originally came out. I feel like that's why. That's the answer.
That was the era where they were like, yeah,
Every
it
now
doesn't
and
matter.
then, like some really juvenile humor will just really sneak
And you're like,
its way
what the
in.
fuck? That was there?
Just like click LOL.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
got a boob shot.
Take a picture of her boobs. That was
Yeah.
definitely one developer that's like, I could do this, and everyone's like,
do it,
they
just
all
do
laugh
it.
like Beavis and Butthead in the meeting until it just got implemented. GameStop has deleted the Game Informer Twitter after a former staffer used it to post a farewell. And gotta say, I thought maybe he went on there and he's like, yeah, fuck GameStop, fuck all these assholes. No, he went in there and he wrote, actually, I'll just read the tweet. Our 33 legacy deserves a genuine goodbye, written by a former Game Informer member. We're heartbroken by the shutdown of our publication, yet we leave with pride knowing we poured everything we had into it. In the words of our editor-in-chief, be well, play well. And then
How
he just
offensive.
posted I just posted the letterhead. Or the masthead. I cannot believe that as response. And this is what, like decades of Twitter history. GameStop just nukes it. Just nuked the whole account.
That's
just
what I'm telling
deleted it.
you.
It's-
This whole thing
It
is
seems
spiteful somehow.
right?
Such bad PR, man.
I don't know what the fuck. It's so crazy.
Why does he hate it so
They
much?
pulled the
Why
whole
does-
website down, all the legacy articles, all the reporting they did, which is all legitimate journalism. They
30
just pulled
years
it down,
or whatever.
and then the Twitter And dude, it is just. Remember when they used to say,
I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Shit is messy.
Yeah.
GameStop is acting bitchy.
Yeah.
Messy.
I just remember when they used to say, the
not
internet
very
is forever.
not
and-
very mindful.
And,
not
and
good.
anything you post on the internet's just gone forever. Or it's never going to go away. And now, like in 2024, shit just disappears all the time. Like Twitter might just get deleted entirely, and that's just like all gone. At this point, I'm like,
we don't need to archive anything.
yeah. And something just weird happens, and all of a sudden
legacy isn't important to.
We just lose
keep?
all of Wikipedia. Like Wikipedia is just gone. Like that's where I'm at now. This stuff is so weird that like people just do this unilaterally. If you had ever told me that Game Informer, like the website, would just go down and their whole like Twitter feed would just get taken down, I'd be like, what? That doesn't make sense. But now I'm like, nothing is sacred and nothing is safe from just being fully deleted from the internet. It's so weird. It's like we're burning a Library of Alexandria worth of information like every fucking day now.
Just like do it just because, yeah, this is crazy.
Because someone's fifis got hurt.
Spite.
Half-Life 3 is rumored to be in work at Valve.
Like a real Half-Life game.
Yeah.
Not a
meme.
VR one. A
This is,
real Half-Life game.
You can't trick me.
Data mining.
You can't trick me.
Don't even try it.
In a job posting that was posted on a voice acting website. That's kind of where this came from, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's very thin sourcing on this claim, I guess. But yeah, Half-Life 3. Maybe in this lifetime. If you're still alive, you may see it.
It's Project, they called it Project White Sands, which is not a Brandon Sanderson reference, even though it technically is.
Even though, what the hell? Why? How dare you?
It does sound like it's some sort of horrible CIA operation.
Well, because
that's
in
true.
Half-Life, they have Black Mesa. So
Mhm.
that's like the location where is like all this stuff's take place. So they're saying, oh, Black Mesa, it's like White Sands, right? And so that's what they think. And so this would be great news, right? If they came out with a good Half-Life 3 game, that would be awesome. So hopefully, I don't know, fingers crossed.
High on Life is getting an animated TV show.
Why?
Great question. This was this game that was the voice actor was Justin Roiland, who is
Squanch Games.
Yeah.
Again.
He's been kicked off of Rick and Morty and Solar Opposites and every other project he's ever worked with because he's like a notorious disgusting pervert and freak.
Criminal.
And this was like what this whole game and Squanch Games was like predicated around him and his form of animation and voice acting and
his voice, yeah.
Everything. His voice was, and then they're like, we're gonna make a show out of this. Was there anywhere in this article that said when it's gonna air? Or that they're just developing
they're just starting.
Yeah, this is bullshit. This is not gonna happen. This is like some guy that distorted a huge bag of fucking cocaine and was like, yeah, we'll just do this. Like, I fucking love that game. That game was so much fun. We'll just make like a fucking TV show out of it, man. Like, oh, I'll get you like $5 million. We could just do it. But you got to call Variety. We got to call all the magazines. We got to get us out there. And then like, I feel like this is going nowhere.
Well, they have a producer. That's what
yeah, that's the guy that stored the giant bag of cocaine.
And do you know who that is?
JB Smoove. I have heard this name before, and I looked up, and I've seen this face, but for the life of me, I can't put.
Well,
it's just like one of those faces.
He's never been familiar, a producer before,
but you've never you've seen him around, but you can't name a thing.
Yeah. JB Smoove. This will be his first production.
Oh, he was the elevator operator in Mr. Deeds with Adam Sandler.
Oh, yes.
He should be a producer.
Now I know.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, JB Smoove. Ruben from
Not
Mr.
everything
Deeds.
needs to be made into a show, guys. Not everything needs this treatment. Like, could this be funny? Maybe for 2 episodes. But because if you remember, High on Life, the whole thing is you've got this gun, it's a first-person shooter, and your gun talks while you're playing, and your gun has like little quippy quips, and he just says stuff in Morty voice, and that's like the whole thing of it.
Yeah, let's
Okay,
stretch this
reportedly,
concept out.
Into a
people
TV
were
series.
immediately shutting off the voice on the gun
Because it's
because you
annoying.
could like turn it off because it got annoying. And now they're like, let's make this into a show. And I'm like, you got 2 episodes max before this is it's over. Like it's no longer interesting or funny. So why? Not everything needs to be a show, guys. We're over rotating here.
Microsoft has set up a AA franchise inside of Blizzard.
Cause what could go wrong?
They're
They're making they're
pumping out
taking
soulless mobile games with Blizzard branding on them. That's like
Yes,
what this is.
yep.
When you see AA, it means soulless microtransaction mobile games. That's what AA is.
Yep. And that's what they just set up a team. They send them over there to just do this. Why do they even make it?
They lay off
a
20,000 people.
different
and then they're like, this is
studio?
what we need. Hire up some cheap, farm out some cheap labor out of like India and some new grads. Pay them $40,000 a year. Let's get these mobile games
Make
out.
us some mobile games with StarCraft.
We'll call it
on
Warcraft Go. We'll call it StarCraft Go.
Blizzard
You-
Go is what
Blizzard
You truly
Go.
do. It's what is the phrase? Like you either like die a hero or live long enough to watch your heroes become like
to become a
terrible
villain
people.
or
I can't
whatever.
remember what the phrase is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It is 10 p.m.
Is that late for you, Lynn?
This is when
It
we do our best
is.
work.
Yes.
I just started to wake up like an hour ago.
Yeah, I'm ready to party
Fresh as a
now.
daisy. Yeah. Like the
Some of us
golden
didn't
hour.
get naps.
I did
some
take
of
a
us
nap.
weren't
If you
so
notice,
lucky.
look at my hair.
You get that.
I got a nap today, so that's where I'm at.
Yeah, it's the Caesar. That's what it's called.
Yeah,
The hairstyle you got going on.
You got
I
the
know.
Zuckerberg.
Look, I'm not trying to
That-
get that. Okay, gosh dang it. Okay, I'm gonna go
Night-
do my hair if you keep talking about it.
Kudos. Positivity segment, giving shout outs to things that we're digging this week. We got some good ones here. What do we got? You guys started off.
I got
Mine's dumb.
some. Okay, first one is a big one. The Boys season 4. I started it, finished it. Oh yeah, it is just as disgusting as you would expect.
Yuck.
Less penises, not no penises, but less penises.
Well, that's an
And-
immediate markdown for me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're not gigantic and people aren't climbing into them. So that's like the different. But yeah, lots of people being ripped in half. Like that seems to be because in this season, the heroes or whatever, the soups are like out of control. Like just kind of taking things over and like, all right, we're done being controlled. And so yeah, Homelander just like rips soups in half, kills lots of people. He does not care. And lots of people dying, gory deaths, and just like in public, there he doesn't care anymore. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. It was a good season. I will say it is a setup season to where they're setting up for like big stuff is about to happen, real big stuff. Butcher is not doing well. He's dying from all the V he was taking before in the last season, so he's not doing very well. But he's off the rails too. Everyone's kind of off the rails a little bit in this, and so
And they were never really on the rails.
Yeah. The last season, so I finished the last season, season 3. I still haven't watched season 4. And you're
Okay.
saying it's getting more intense. Oh,
but they're just like off the rails. They're just like nobody cares anymore. Like all the soups, all the VOT people know about Butcher and Huey. They like know them well. And so they're like, it's crazy. So anyways, good season though. Very good. And it sets up, it ends with on a pretty decent, like I wouldn't say cliffhanger, but setup for some freaking crazy next season. So yeah, good job on The Boys season 4. Didn't disappoint. I watched it. Took me about a week to just like grind through it all. I'd watch maybe 1 or 2 episodes a night. Very good. So Boys season 4 gets my kudos. And it's on Amazon, or if you're not aware of it, it's on Prime Video. What do you got, Lynn? Do you have one?
Yeah. Mine's a local-based one. So I recently took a improv comedy class.
Okay.
Yeah, but here's the caveat. It was a improv comedy class for people with social anxiety.
Beautiful.
So there's this really cool comedy troupe that's called Crowdsourced Comedy. It's located here in Salt Lake. They are queer owned, they are Black women owned, and they do comedy that's not just improv comedy, but they also teach workshops about improv comedy, improv like 101 if you want to learn about how to do improv. But I signed up for the social anxiety class because I had social anxiety. And what better way to get over your social anxiety than by a baptism by fire?
Right.
So that's what I
that either sounds like the most hilarious thing or the least hilarious thing.
Yes.
How many times have you gone?
Both of those things. So it was a 4-week-long course. I just finished it, and it did what it was supposed to do. It helped me get over some social anxiety. So if you are interested, they do a lot of classes. And they also do comedy shows every Friday night and Sunday nights at Waikiki Bar up in Salt Lake City. So I think earlier, like they'll always have a theme. So it's either an all-women show, an all-queer show. They do D&D live, like role-playing comedy shows. I went to a couple of their live shows, and they're pretty fun. Anyway, so if you're interested, it was a really fun program. I learned a lot. Half of it is taught by a guy named Craig Sorensen, who was named as the best stand-up comedian and like best of state, I think last year. And then the other one is a guy named, I forgot his name. That's so embarrassing. I just know his first name, John, but he is also a member of the improv comedy troupe, but a therapist. So you get these really cool skills of not only how to like perform on stage, the basics of improv, but then you get his perspective as a therapist of how you can then apply these same sort of improv and comedy ideas in your everyday life. It was really interesting, and I learned a lot.
What's it called again?
So it's called Crowdsourced Comedy, and the class that I took was Improv for Social Anxiety.
Okay.
Dude, that's great. I love that.
Yeah, that sounds like it could be fun. JD and I have talked about doing improv classes a lot, but it's just impossible with my schedule.
It was really nice to have a safe place to be able to try comedy too. And I think that's the thing that I really appreciated about it the most. Stand-up comedy in general can seem like a very intimidating and kind of cutthroat thing, depending on the kind of vibe and crowd. And this was a very welcoming, everybody wants to help each other learn, grow, laugh, safe space to work on your craft. The social anxiety class specifically geared towards that, but all in general, all of their stuff is geared to be helping each other out and not like kicking up, not kicking down with comedy. So it was very good. I enjoyed it.
I have a quick one that goes out to Jenna. Took me on a surprise date. We like to take each other on like surprise dates, like we don't know where we're going.
That's so cute.
To the Linden Aquatic Center. So
legendary.
She's like, just get a swimsuit, and I was like, okay, here we go. I didn't know where we were going.
You're like, do I need it? Because I do like to swim nude.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, there's going to be a lot of kids there.
There's mostly kids there. Yeah. So Linden is in Utah County. It's like north of Provo. It's like east of Lehigh, kind of. I don't know if I've ever been to Linden, Utah.
I know. I was like, you're describing the worst area.
Yeah.
It's like they must right by Provo and Lehigh. It's like hidden in there.
Corporation or somewhere that's in their tax base that is paying for this community center, because their town hall looks like a one-room building, but their aquatic center makes the Cottonwood Heights Aquatic Center with a much larger tax base look like a kiddie pool.
It is maybe the best one in the state.
It's
got-
of the aquatic
legendary,
centers.
I feel
Yeah,
like.
they've
The
got,
only
like-
reason you go to Linden is
for
because
the-
of the aquatic center.
And you
Yeah,
just
that's
go.
true.
I mean, if you're a resident, you pay even less, but it was fucking cheap for me. Jenna, in particular, wanted me to go on this flow rider thing. It's like kind of like it's like a wakeboarding simulator almost.
It's like you
wake surfing.
It's like surfing, and it's just like shoots the water up a hill, and you're surfing on it.
And there's like for kids, there's a lot of fun stuff. Like there's a lazy river. There's a fucking
Yeah.
lazy river, dude. And you like
What?
bring your own.
The bunch
You
of
bring your own
slides.
tubes and yeah, no, this is and when I went, it was on a Tuesday afternoon or something, and it was honestly like medium. It was like there was no crowds. Like you could have totally showed up with 20 people as like a party, and you would have had a place to like set up and put all your food and drinks out, and then like I don't know, it was so awesome. It was just. And again, we drove like 30 minutes for this place, and I was not disappointed for just like a community like water park kind of deal. It was freaking awesome. Linden
Flow
Aquatic
rider is
Center.
worth it. It just in itself. We've got a flow rider like thing up here in Ogden, and it's very expensive, and you just go for like 30 minutes. This
Yeah,
one you
this
pay
is
like
unlimited.
$20, and you can just go all day.
You could be there all day long.
And that's
just,
what
like-
people were doing. You have like a bracelet, and I was like, I don't want to do it. And so me and my buddy put the bracelet on. I went with one of my friends and their families. We put it on real loose so we could trade the bracelet
Smart.
back
You're-
and forth.
You're absolutely exposing yourself.
It's fine.
The kiddie pool is like a sunken pirate ship is in like the middle of the kiddie pool.
This
It is
city
so
pool
cool.
has no business being this bougie. Has
Yes,
no business
it's
having
bougie.
this level of whimsy
Yeah.
and fun.
I know. I was like,
No-
Linden must
no
be
business.
the richest city in the state because this pool is crazy. But I don't think it is the richest city in the state.
I know
don't
all the
I
kids
couldn't-
there's no fat kids. They all look like farm kids. All these kids were just like shredded. Like all they do is huck bales of hay and then they go chill at the Linden Aquatic Center. I was like,
and like practice surfing.
I'm like hiding my stomach under a towel. Like I got my towel around my tits. I'm like, I don't want anyone to see this because I got all these like corn huskers out there just looking like beefy as hell. Like Linden is, yeah. I don't know what's
You're
going
like, Jenna,
on.
Something
stop
is in the
looking so
water.
hard.
Like, No, I'm just
Oh.
like, yeah, I'm like head down, like just only all the way up to my neck in the lazy river. I'm like, nobody can see. I was embarrassed.
JD had a long sleeve shirt on. It was
Yeah.
great.
Gotta hide my hairy nipples. Peterson, what
I got
did
one
you-
more.
what do you
Cut-
got?
Cacio e pepe. Have you had it? It's
No.
an Italian dish.
No, it sounds.
Okay.
Wait, maybe I have. Is that the one?
It's
Tell me about it.
It just means cheese and pepper. And I've heard about this for years.
Is
I
this
know
where they make it inside of the thing?
No,
of
no, 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 no.
Parmesan.
Snorgel's gonna
like
kick
the-
and I just know it. It is the simplest dish. And so I
Yeah.
was like, what's the hype around this? I don't get it. I finally had it. It's delicious. And so I was like, I gotta make this because it's so easy to make. It's 4 ingredients. It is your pasta. It's like a Parmigiano Reggiano type of cheese, butter, and pepper. And that's it. And you make it like you melt the butter in a pan, then you crack the pepper into it and let it bloom. I'd never heard that before. You kind of let the pepper bloom for 30 seconds in the hot butter. Then you
Okay.
cook the pasta al dente. You put it into the butter, toss it into the butter and pepper mix. Then you put your grated cheese in there and you just like keep tossing it until it forms like this creamy sauce. I don't know what it is. It's so easy to make and it is genuinely delicious. Like I said, I've heard of cacio e pepe for years and I always thought it sounded like too lame to even bother. It's not. I've made it twice now in like 2 weeks.
It is
and
like
it's
the perfect dish where it's like less is more.
yeah.
And what you are going to taste is just the true heart of these 4 ingredients blended together. It's like that scene in Ratatouille where
Yeah,
you're like,
it
it's like
is.
that is what it is, except imagine
Mhm.
me like 2 a.m. drunk that was me having I can't even pronounce it right.
Cacio e pepe.
Pepe for the first time, which is like, oh my god, like noodles over stove, just like this is incredible.
And it gets better as you eat it. Like you take your first bite and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. Dude, by the time you're done eating your dish, you're like, dude, this is freaking amazing. I love cacio e pepe. I don't know what it is. And Anthony Bourdain I've seen this a few times. He described it as the perfect dish. So it's just like, it's a lot of hype around it, but you got to make it. It's so easy to make. So easy to make. You're going to feel like you did something wrong. That's how easy it is.
That's the best dish. When you're like,
Yeah.
is it all done? You're like,
This doesn't
that's
seem
Like,
right.
it shouldn't be this easy. It
take a
shouldn't
bite
taste
and
this
you're like,
good.
huh?
It shouldn't
good.
be this easy and it shouldn't taste this good.
So check it out. Try it. If my kids all eat it, I mean, it's easy to just make a ton of it. Like it's not expensive. And so cacio e pepe, make it, try it. It's delicious. Rundown.
Okay, we're doing the rundown, even though I'm not exactly sure what a rundown is.
It was running down.
You just run down a game. You just run it. Peterson's doing a rundown for Marvel's Midnight Suns.
It's not a run around.
I'll give it the run around.
Rundown.
Okay. So I have had this game on my radar for a long time. Finally bought it on sale. And then 2 months later, it was free on the Epic Game Store. So that was kind of annoying. So now I have 2 copies of it because Steam would not refund it because they had bought it a while before that. But so I finally started playing it. I was like, I know I've heard good things about this game, so I'm going to play it because it's made by the XCOM people. So I like those turn-based kind of strategy shooter type of things. So I was like, I'm going to play it. And I thought it would be kind of cheesy because it's Marvel and Marvel's been kind of outdone. And so that was one of the holdbacks that I've had this whole time.
Absolutely.
So I play this and at first I was kind of on the fence. I mean, it was very familiar, but very different at the same time. So what this is, if you know XCOM, it's a little bit different in terms of because it is a turn-based combat shooter. It's like based on range. So like your cards have distance and your guys have like a range they can reach, sort of thing. But this one's very different because you're superheroes. So you're not as limited. In XCOM, you're like guys with guns. And so you're hiding behind cover and you're shooting. There's no cover in this game. It does not exist or matter because you're superheroes fighting like Venom and stuff like that. Just like throwing crap around. So there's a list of heroes you start with, and then you have your own person. It's like you're just like a new hero. You're called Hunter. You're like a demon hunter that has been reawakened because Lilith, the mother of demons, has come back. And it's not Marvel superhero-y in the terms of like the Thanos saga is. It is very magic based. So there's like witches and all that stuff. Like you are hanging out at like a witch coven. So there's like tons of magic. And so like Tony Stark is there doing stuff, but he's like flummoxed by like the demons and the magic and all this stuff. Oh, geez,
Witches in video games so hot right now. Witchcraft hot right now.
There's tons of witchcraft. Like it's all witches. So you're in this, and all of the heroes feel very different in how they operate and what they do. So they did an amazing job with the heroes, if I'm being honest, like making them feel good as terms of like very different because you go into each battle with only 3. The other thing that makes it very different, and actually you can't really see it in this playthrough that JD's showing if you're watching the video, is it is a card-based battler. So it's a deck builder. So each hero you select comes into the fight with a deck of 8 cards that are then shuffled together, and you get 5 or 6 or whatever. And then that's how you take your turns. And each of them have like all sorts of stuff. There's now you can see the cards. And so some of them you can't use until you've killed a certain amount of guys. You have to like use cards and it gives you hero points. And then you can do your bigger moves, which are you spend a hero currency, but you only play 3 cards. there's cards that, like, if you kill a guy with this card, you get your card play back. And so there is a lot of strategy in terms of how you are putting your deck together and then which characters you want to play together. There's a lot of strategy involved with that. So that's like the basics of the gameplay. But there's a whole completely separate game that you also play in this, because this is very much a story game. You spend more time, I would argue, in the story than you do actually in these combat missions, which is
Interesting.
interesting because
Is it good?
Yes, and that's what I'll say. The story is good. I'm really enjoying the story of it because like Lilith is back and you've joined this group called the Midnight Suns, who are these heroes who have this, it's like an Avengers type of group. It's got like Ghost Rider in it and Blade is in it. And so you've got these characters in there, and there's a couple you might not be familiar with, but they got really cool abilities. And so you've joined the Midnight Suns, and then some of the Avengers come too, because Wanda Maximoff has been taken captive, and she was Doctor Strange's like understudy, essentially. He was like training her, but she was originally trained in this coven of witches that you are a part of. And so that's how it's like the Avengers kind of come into this a little bit. And so these two teams have teamed up, and there's like the whole relationship building thing. So you're like hanging out with them. And when you hang out with them, you have like all these chat options and you're like developing your relationship. And as your relationships develop, then you have more abilities, better abilities will pop up, new abilities will pop up. You have team up abilities that will show up in the fights. And so the story part is very important in between fights. So you wake up in the morning and you wake up in your bed. You've got a room which you can decorate. You can you get all this currency and you can like use it to like unlock things to decorate the room with. And then
Personalization, honestly, is one of those tiny little touches that you can put into a game that
and
makes
you
it
can
feel
change
so much better.
change all of the characters' costumes too. Like it's mostly color changes, but then there are a few like new outfits you can unlock while they're in their superhero outfit or while they're just running around the abbey that you live in. But then you run around this abbey and the yard around the abbey, unlocking stuff, finding new things, and like unlocking the story. And so you're like doing that, and then you decide to do your mission. You do your mission, and you do one mission a day, and then you come back after the mission. You're back at the abbey at night. You go and do your stuff, talk to people, do your hangouts, whatever you're going to do that day, and then you go to bed. You wake up and do it all over again.
So the mission is combat.
Yeah, the mission
Right?
is the combat, and then you only do one a day, and then you spend just more time, I would say, running around the abbey, talking to these characters, training, and like doing all the other stuff. And I'm a lot of time into this game now, and it doesn't feel tedious at all.
Wait, what platform did you get this on?
I'm playing it on, I bought it on EGS, so I'm playing it on EGS.
And how much was it?
Ooh, I bought it on sale. Actually, I bought it on Steam. I'm playing on EGS because I got it for free on there.
Oh,
so
okay.
Let's see. I bought it on sale, but Midnight Suns. Oh, it's normally a $60 game.
That's kind of what I was thinking. It looks
this is a full price game, but you can get it on sale. It does go on sale. I think I got it for like $15 or something.
Yeah,
because it did come out a little while ago. It's been out since 2022, so it goes on sale. I think I bought it for $15. This game is very good. The story, I will say, has kept me so intrigued. Like I'm so into it and what's happening. And I think I still have a lot to play. I've played at least 20 hours. I think I still have a lot to go because like Bruce Banner is doing stuff I just barely met Wolverine. And so he's going to eventually join up with me. And the other thing I'll say, it is fully voice acted. So all of the characters have all the lines voice acted. It's not really done by anyone that you would know. And they do a good mix of like, like Tony Stark feels like comic book Tony Stark mixed with MCU Tony Stark.
Nice.
So they do try to keep it kind of familiar, but they all have a very distinct personality. Spider-Man obviously is the best. He's the best one by far. His character is hilarious all the time. And so they all have like a good personality. I'm telling you, like, it's a very well done game. I was surprised because it's Marvel at how good it actually is. And
Yeah.
so I absolutely recommend this game. I don't recommend it for $60, mostly because, like, if you're way into Marvel, you would have already bought this back in 2022. But now,
If you've waited this long, wait a little bit longer.
wait for a sale. 1,000%, because that's what I did. I got it for $15. I got it for free on EGS, one of their free weeks. But this is, if you have ever liked these games at all, this is a must play. It's very, very good. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. It might be it's in my top 3 of this type of turn-based game that I've played.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna ask, would you say that this was like what would you call this? Like a rogue-ish deck builder kind of game? Would you say that this is like a in this kind of genre game or whatever? Is this kind of game for people who like these kind of games, or is this kind of game for people who like Marvel?
Both. No. People who like these types of games absolutely will like this, because again, it is the developers of XCOM who make the best game in this genre is XCOM 2, in my opinion. It's amazing, but this is also like very good. You can tell they brought their expertise into this. And so yeah, very, very good game. I would say it's good if you like Marvel. It's good if you like, and I would say the Marvel comic books. This is not an MCU Marvel situation, because this is like very comic booky feeling in terms of the characters. And so if you like Marvel comics, like, this game is absolutely for you. If you like XCOM games, this is absolutely for you. Um, if you just want to play a fun story, I mean, again, this combat is like not even like the biggest part of the game. Like, I
Yeah.
spend more time in non-combat situations.
So I am curious about the combat. You mentioned that like you're playing as superheroes, and some of the mechanics from games like this is or that the developers had made before, those mechanics don't exist now, like cover. Would you
Yeah.
say that the combat feels satisfying in terms of like being a superhero?
Yeah, because there are guys that will come out and they are one shot, one kill types of guys,
Damn.
which feels like what you would be able to do as a superhero. So, like, you hit them and they're dead. You can kill multiple people in one turn very easily in this. And then like big OP characters will come out, like Venom. Oh, and this is the other thing. Sometimes in a mission, you'll just be doing a regular normal difficulty mission, and it'll just be a pretty cut and dry thing. And then there's a random chance that a supervillain will show up. So Venom just drops
Just
in,
randomly.
and
No
all of a sudden
warning.
you're like, oh shoot, like, this mission all of a sudden got real serious, and like, they're very hard to kill. They're very strong.
Okay.
And so yeah, all of a sudden the missions get crazy. You can change the difficulty at any point, and so
That's
you're
a
not
nice
like
feature.
locked in. It is nice. I don't know. I'm loving this game, and in fact, I want to play it all the time. I think about playing it. When I was the other night, I was like, should I go watch The Boys or should I play more Midnight Suns? Because I'm like into the story of it too. I want to know what's happening. And so yeah, I'm like into this game. It's very good.
Dude, that's tight. I'm glad. I would not have expected that.
I
But
was so ready to talk so much shit because I
It's not
automatically have like
MCU.
I
That's
have
why.
MCU
That's why.
we're
fatigue.
all
It's
burned out.
MCU fatigue.
We're all burned out.
Mhm.
Yep.
That's so
It
good to know that it's going more to
It's
the
comic book. It's comic
comic
book
booky.
for sure. And in fact, there's stuff I don't even understand that like Marvel nerds would understand, who are like way into the comic books. They would get. I don't even get it because I only did the comic books a little bit. And so yeah, it's very comic booky, which makes it feel better. It's not MCU.
I would be curious to get people's perspectives who are like Marvel comic fans if they played this game to know if they think if it's a good adaptation.
Yeah, that's
Because just
true.
earlier in this episode, we were talking about how we see really terrible adaptations of video games to movies. But what about like comic books to video games?
Yeah, that's true.
What do they think?
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. I should probably look it up and see. But yeah, I love
Well,
it.
if you're fans of the show, any
Yeah.
fans on the show or listeners, if you like your Marvel comic books, let us know.
Yeah, this looks sick. Okay, Marvel Midnight Suns.
I mean, it's always had good reviews too, so it's always been well reviewed. So
Yeah, I mean, we've been watching this gameplay, and most of it's been
story.
cutscenes, stories and stuff.
Yeah,
That's pretty
and
fun.
tons of it. And
Yeah.
I sometimes fast forward, like read it and skip through it, but most of the time I just listen in. I'm just listening to the audio. So
It seems pretty balanced, like a good
Yeah.
balance of.
Yeah, it looks sick.
sometimes at the what I will say, the very beginning, you're like, am I ever gonna play this game? I'm just like doing tons of
It's like
talking.
JRPG.
Yeah, like they just start off this is the beginning of the game. They start
Ugh.
off very dialogue heavy, but then it kind of goes into it opens up and you can like control it a little bit better. But yeah, it starts off very dialogue heavy.
That will be a future segment that we do. The 5 most tedious video game openings.
Oh my gosh, Kingdom Hearts 2 wins it.
Oh, my
and
gosh.
then what was the one
Fucking
that I played?
boxes.
The Yakuza one. I was like,
Yeah, the Yakuza
I'm like
one's
an
great.
hour and a half in, and I think I haven't even controlled my character yet.
Not even once.
No. Anyway, so that's Midnight Suns. Check it out.
Nice. I'm glad to be proven wrong and to have my prejudices challenged.
Honestly, kind of same. Like
Yep.
that's why I've been waiting so long. So I was pleasantly surprised.
Dice of Destiny.
All right. Dice of Destiny is this game we play at the end of every week. We start with a 6-sided dice to see who will be rolling the Dice of Destiny, which itself is a 20-sided dice that we have taken and assigned 20 different game genres, a rotating list of 20 different game genres to it, and then they roll another 6-sided dice to find out their budget. They then find a game in that budget, in that genre. They pick it, play it, and review it. Last week, I rolled a 2D game. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
And I had a lot to choose from. They were all new releases. In fact, I don't remember that ever happening before, that I had a Dice of Destiny game where all of the games I was considering had just come out that week. But that was the case this week. It was very strange. I was looking at World of Goo 2, the sequel to the 2008 puzzle 2D puzzle game. Is like a side scroller where you were controlling goo balls, trying to get your goo balls from one side of the screen to the other.
Goo balls. That
was
has
my
a good
nickname in high
mouth feel.
school.
Goo balls, yeah, that's what we all called Peterson. And
I
then
don't want to know why.
there was Steam World Heist 2, which I aesthetically thought it looked awesome. You play as a bounty hunter or something in a what is it?
It's space pirate robots.
Pirate. Well, you're recruiting robots. Are you yourself a robot though?
Yes.
Okay. So
SteamWorld is exclusively robots. There are no
there's
humans.
steam-powered robots in space,
Yes.
which is just awesome. And the art style was super cool. But I watched gameplay, and after about 5 to 10 minutes of the gameplay, I could feel myself being like, if I was playing this, I'd be so bored, because
I loved it.
It is tactical like the Midnight Suns, but it's all 2D, so it seemed limited. Like, I'm just ricocheting. I'm just waiting for their turn and then, ricocheting every single shot. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, that's reductive, because I've played through this game twice. I love it.
Well, I like how every single opinion you've had so far was no.
Wrong. That's my wrong.
Just don't talk about this game anymore. Peterson will correct you.
You've talked about it on this pod then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Well, then I'm glad I didn't do that one. Well, that one just came out. How have you played it?
Me off
that one
right
just
now.
came out. Just came out like this month. How have you played Steam World Heist 2 already?
Because it was out on the Switch years ago. I played it 3 years ago on the Switch.
Well, now I feel like you have to play this game just so you two can fight about it.
I just think you're straight up
Maybe that's
wrong.
next time.
Because Steam World Heist.
Oh, because this is the second
first one.
I played the
2015.
And the second one's the same thing.
Yeah, kinda.
It is the same.
It honestly looked better. Like the tooling around in the ocean and doing these dungeons, it just seemed cool, but I just couldn't get into it. So I went with
Now I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna
kind of
play
a
it and prove
comedy
you wrong.
game. That was very much a comedy game called Thank Goodness You're Here. And it's very much in the same vein as the Untitled Goose Game. I'd say it's the exact same kind of game where
Okay.
it's kind of a 2D town that you terrorize, sort of. You run around, you're this little character, you're like a quarter of the size of all the other characters, and you have 2 buttons, jump and slap.
Okay.
That's it. That's all you do is jump and
All
slap.
right.
And it's definitely funny. And if I'd rolled this for my funny game, I think I would have had a different opinion on it. It made me laugh out loud multiple times. It's very Monty Python-esque humor.
Okay.
It's in this Northern England style of surrealist, sardonic humor you don't really get anywhere else in the Anglosphere. And it's
Niche.
Gosh, you used a lot of big words right
Niche.
there.
Real niche. You should be proud of yourself for knowing that much.
but the goose, it's just not the Goose Game. It's not Untitled Goose. It's not nearly as fun or rewarding as Untitled Goose Game, and it seems like they got way too fixated on doing this funny, goofy, quirky, like Monty Python style game, and they kind of lost the game part of it. I paid it for about 3.5 hours. I think I'll be done in about 10 minutes more, maybe. I feel like I'm just wrapping it up. It is $20. It's a $20 game. I got it on sale for $17, and I still feel like I paid way over. I had no idea it was this short. But Goose Game was short. But at the end of the Goose Game, when you like deliver the bell to your pile of bells, you have this like smile on your face, and you're like, "Oh, I get it." It's
I was
funny.
so happy to have played it.
It
Like
feels
this
very
was like
rewarding.
a cool experience. It was
Mhm.
rewarding. This game, it's
Also-
just none of that.
Wasn't Untitled Goose Game one of the first of its kind? Not
Yeah.
like trying to imitate
Yeah,
anything that came before it.
and the theme just isn't as engaging. Instead of with the Goose Game, like the bell moment that Phil's referencing here, that was a huge part of the game. There's no point to this game. It is entirely pointless. Like you spend a lot of the game trying to help a guy fix a deep fryer. But it's not like for any purpose other than like it just moves things along. But like it's so basic that it's not like you're retrieving items and bringing them back. Like you don't even have that functionality. You never pick anything up in this whole game. You just slap things and people. You just slap stuff and then jump over it. And like so if you go into like the deep fryer to like unclog something, it then switches to a very limited to like side scrolling mode where there's no like 2.5D where you go up and down. And it honestly feels a lot of the times that it's like a flash game.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's like funny, but not rewarding.
Yeah, it's just it's like an inch deep.
Oof.
It's like a kiddie pool, man. This in terms of like a game as a video game, it is a terrible game. As an experience, like if you were really high on the couch with your buddies playing this, you would have a blast. And it'd probably be the perfect length because you'd play it and then you might just beat it and it's about the length of like a long movie and you're like, cool, that was fun. But $20 is insane. Basically, all you do, the core gameplay loop of this is that you run around the city looking for a door or something that's open that wasn't open before. Then you go in there and you do this thing and then you leave. And then so you're just constantly doing a loop around the same little tiny city that's basically like 2 rooms essentially. And you browse these 2 rooms. You're like, oh, that door's open. It wasn't open before. You go in there and there's some quirky, Northern England dialogue that you can hardly understand a word of, but that's fun and that's funny and you laugh.
Yeah.
And you slap a guy who's eating a sandwich and he gets it on his face. And then you slap a guy and he pees his pants. And you're like, that's fun. And you move on, you have a laugh. But like at the end of the day, you're like, well, what did I just spend $20 on? Like,
It's
fuck,
fun,
dude.
but not $20 fun.
No, it's not even $5
It's more like
fun.
$4.20 fun.
I wish I'd gotten this for $4.20 on EGS in April. Like, that would have
Woo.
been fun for me. I can't even say wait for a sale because I got it on sale and I feel like I was robbed. So honestly, just skip this one. Thank goodness you're here. It looks great on paper. If you get it for free on EGS, like, fuck yeah, play it and you'll love it for free. But this is, like I said, this is like a game you'd play on Newgrounds and you'd be like, wow, this is like this is the best game on Newgrounds. But oh man, it can't hang with anything on Steam. And certainly, like, I saw Steam was selling a bundle with this and Goose Game. If you played Goose Game first and then you went to this immediately after because you got them in a bundle, you would be even more disappointed than I am.
Yeah.
You would be very disappointed.
It's funny because the reviews are like, this game is the funniest game ever. Also, I'm from the UK. Like, I think UK
Yep.
people found this game absolutely hilarious. That's what I'm getting out of the reviews. People from the UK just could not get enough of the comedy in this.
Again,
Yeah.
very niche.
Super niche. Like, and like, it's funny. Like, it really is funny. And you don't have to even be from Northern England to get it. A lot of the stuff, because it's just surreal and it's silly and it's just nonsense. But it's not enough. It wasn't enough for me. It just if you made this game and it was all super hyper localized to Utah and like northern Utahns and all of our silly nonsense bullshit, and I played it, I would get tired of it too. Because the game itself was not engaging. Like with the Goose Game, you had a little task list. This is what you can do. Here's what you can pick up this, torment the farmer, and there were puzzles. There's no puzzles in this. There's no like, if you take this watering can over here, it'll distract the farmer, and then he goes over and you go do this, which was so fun to figure out the pathing and noodle that out. Nothing about this game is remotely challenging. You just go into a room and you jump over things, and then you slap something. And then it works or it starts or whatever. And so like the game is so thin from a video gameplay experience that I was just like, sense. By the time
you need more than jump and slap.
Yeah, you need more than jump and slap. You need to be able to pick something up. And at least. In fact, toward the end of the game, you dive into I think you go fishing for something and you pick up something at the bottom of the lake. And I kept slapping it, and because I genuinely didn't think that I could grab it because you have not grabbed anything.
Oh, so they introduced a new mechanic just one time.
Yeah, God. And it's just like that. You just go down and pick something. It felt like a student game.
Gotcha.
Meets a Flash game, and I could not believe the price point after playing it. Like I would straight up give this a negative review on Steam if I cared that much. I just don't. But
it also, if you go to these guys' website, you wouldn't be surprised if it was a student game because their website is one page with like 3 sentences on it, and that's it.
Yeah,
that's the website. So, Cole Supper.
It's overwhelmingly positive on Steam. That
Thank
threw
goodness
me off.
You're here. Thank goodness you left.
Yeah. No. Yeah. 97%. Positive reviews with 1,200 reviews. So I am absolutely the outlier here, but I can't in good conscience even recommend this. Like, you might have a good laugh and it might be for $5. Yeah. Anything over $5. This is not worth $20. For Christ's sake.
Yep.
Valheim was $15. Fucking Valheim. Like, you can't. I can't.
Highway robbery.
So that means we got to re-roll. We got Lynn here. So, Lynn, are you down to potentially get a game?
Yeah, why not?
All right, so...
We got Lynn in? Oh, here we go.
We've got a 6-sided dice, Lynn. We'll let you pick your 2 numbers. What ones do you want?
I want 3 and 5.
Peterson, how about you?
I'm going to hit the ends, 1 and 6.
Okay. You guys are dicks. I'm never going to remember this. All right, it's a 2. Does that mean it's me?
That's you.
Virtual. That's okay, because this is weird.
It's just your absolute bored resignation.
He's like, great. You better pick something better this time, JD.
Well, yeah, because
You don't have expectations. You don't have hopes. They're on the ground.
close listeners that pay a lot of attention to this podcast will notice that I did a reverse mulligan this week. Typically, I ask for extra time to play my game. This one I turned in a week early.
I'm so proud of you.
I know. I played. That's how short
Congratulations.
this fucking game was. That I was like, no, let's just review it now. There's no point in me dragging this out. I know.
Don't
I
drag
got
it
it.
out. Yeah.
So I get an extra week on this one. It's part of my deal. All right. We're gonna roll this 20. See what I got here. It's a 4, which is a Western. A Western.
Oh, this can be
Wow,
fun, but it's also pretty hard.
Interesting.
Oof, you have a
Interesting.
plethora to choose from.
So I got Western game, which means Western is off the board and Dark is on deck next. You know what I really wanted is a 7. 7 is Steam top 10 new and trending.
Oof.
You have to pick from the top 10 new and trending, or 8 is excessive blood and gore. We have some really good ones on the board right now.
Yeah, we do. Let me read you some of the new and trending ones. Sex, beach, and girls.
You know you can turn that off. I was in my Steam settings.
That's
I want to
the
F
name of
my
the
mom's
game.
best friend.
In.
I mean, so do I, but we don't say
In.
that out loud.
We all think it.
We're all thinking it.
The appropriate
Oh,
thing is the
God.
social contract tells us to keep that shit to yourself.
Not in Steam. Not in Steam. Steam, you just put it out there. So
Sex, beach, and girls. Yep. Okay. Anyway, so now I got to roll for money. How much money I can spend on my Western? God, I hope it's not 33. A 30.
There you
So I
go.
can spend
Okay.
$30 on a Western.
okay. That's yeah, you can get there, I think.
Godspeed.
Yeah. That seems good. I've played a couple. I feel like I played a couple of the big Western games. That's not a theme we get a lot of.
I think that's why we added it.
Yeah, I like that a lot, actually.
I'm thrilled to see what you decide to play.
Yeah. All right, so I'll have that pick for you next week. The last week. Guys, go down to Crave West Valley. I mean it.
Go visit JD.
It's Tuesday only. You got one more day to come see me.
Go see
I don't
him.
even get to see my Cisco driver anymore.
Your best friend,
know.
Cisco driver. Yeah.
That's what you're gonna miss the most.
I've been forming relationships that are just being ripped away from me.
What's the outro song? Sarah McLachlan.
I will remember you.
I think that's all we can legally
remember me.
That is all we are allowed to legally use.
Oh no, Lynn, we're trying to get somebody to give us something.
If we got a
Kinda-
cease and desist, then
That
we
would be
could probably,
attention from Senpai.
we'd finally have a legal excuse to quit doing this fucking
No.
show.
We're like, we gotta stop.
We're off the hook.
Dang.
Yeah, we're free of this mortal coil.
You made it to Turkey.
Yeah, that's what
Shit.
Turkey
All right.
banned us a long
Well,
time ago.
on that note, we've got some outro music from Midnight Suns,
There you go.
which is not the MCU music you might expect. I assume.
It's not the MCU music.
Okay, good. Phew.
There was
All
one
right.
point where it kind of sounded like I was like, did they took some overtures from that, I think.
Just
They ripped it
off-brand
off.
enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't be as bad as Marvel's Avengers. That game was the king
gosh.
of off-brand.
No.
You idiots. You kidnapped their stunt doubles. All right. I'm JD logging off.
This is Peterson going AFK.
And this is Lynn gonna go download some bootleg MCU.
Yeah, give me that.
All right, I'm hitting end.